Happy Friday out there in social media world. Well, I have the great pleasure again to release a brand new author out there with her first novel, Out of the Darkness. And I have Robin Magaddino sitting next to me all the way from Montana. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning, Gloria.
I'm really excited for you for a lot of reasons. I know that you have been writing for a long time. I know that you have put a lot into this manuscript. But what I don't know, I realized, is why did you start writing a suspense novel?
I read a lot of suspense. I read a lot of mysteries. That's really my go-to genre. And so I've always heard you should write what you read or write what you know. So I've kind of combined those two things into this novel. I live in Montana. It's set in Montana, and it's a mystery, which I love.
Yeah. So I know you have quite the extensive adventures here with your main character, Rosetta. How did you come up with that character? Is she you?
She is not exactly me. She is an alternate me because I was a wildlife biologist, but I did not go the course that Rosetta went. She just had a different career path, and that gave her different experiences and different opportunities. So she is a character who has a lot of depth in different areas, and I really had to research some of it. But I knew some people like her, some men like her who worked in that different universe of wildlife biology or ecology.
Yeah, I think that happens with a lot of writers. We take parts and pieces of all the people we know. Matter of fact, I tell people, if you're having a chat with me, you could be in my next book.
Me too.
Right? So I was intrigued with the way you opened up the story about online dating, and that is so popular right now. Obviously, it's become the way to meet people. But something happened when she found her perfect date. But we're not going to give all that away yet, those of you listening right now. But where did you come up with that idea to do the online dating kind of little twist?
That actually came later. I had written quite a bit of the book before, but I had several friends suddenly who were all ages of people, from age 50 to 80, who were doing internet dating. And the things they said, the experiences they had were just amazing. And so I kind of took some of their information and used it. None of them had this experience. None of them had this bad experience.
This is quite an interesting experience, which we're not going to give away, obviously, because you have to go get the book on Amazon and help this beautiful lady go bestseller. But it is interesting how the perfect date didn't turn out so perfect.
That's right. You can't choose. You go on there, you think you're choosing, but you're getting something completely unknown. It's kind of scary, but people like to do it. So it makes for a good story. So go ahead and do it.
Do you have a favorite adventure of Rosetta's that you really, really, I don't know, just kind of dove you into the whole character and all the plot twists?
I do, actually. I know I picked a favorite scene. I have a favorite scene in the book, and it starts around chapter 6, where she is trying to recover from something that happened, and she goes off on a solo camping trip into the middle of Montana. And something happens again. She meets somebody, and it's all her background coming into play. And he too brings something to a possible new relationship. So I really like those couple of chapters in there that are out in the wilderness, out in the country, out of the scenery of Montana. If you like that.
Yeah. So if anybody has a question for Robin and why she wrote this book, or what tips she can give you about writing suspense or anything else, drop a line down below. And I apologize, my dog is like telling you all in his language that you need to go get it. Okay. So Robin, it's always fun for me to work with authors to see how their minds work, to see how their stories develop. What did you learn about the process of these revisions after years of writing?
Yes, Gloria. There were years of writing this book and years of going through uh, readers who read parts or all of the manuscript and making those revisions and then sending it to Gloria, who I met, and we hit it off. And she said, well, I'm a publisher. And I said, well, I'm writing a book. And I sent it to her. She's a very, very good, thorough writing development coach and a story development. And she helped me work through I have some holes. I had some holes in my manuscript that I did not see. And, when you have people, read it, they don't want to get into your face and say, you got to do something here. You really need to have an impartial third party. Gloria.
Well, and sometimes they don't know what it is they know something's missing, but they don't know how to explain it to you either. That is something that I learned along the way in writing. Even with my novel writing, I gave the first 6 chapters to some beta readers, but I was specific on what I wanted, because the first thing people will, you forgot a comma. We know that. We'll take care of that. Let me stop it. But when there's something missing in a transition, when the story is lagging and running flat, it's hard for other people. Lomi, I'm sorry. Lomi, stop it. He's got a lot to say about your book. I'm telling you guys, he's been through the whole process with us. He actually sits on the manuscripts, and it's really funny, Robin. Sometimes his paw will land on somewhere where I have to pay attention to. He does it with mine too. So, I know you had a lot of people look at this over the years. You've had editors and authors, and you're in book clubs, and yet you still were open and flexible. And I say this to writers all the time, but, we're creative people. We take things a little personally sometimes, and myself too. So when my beta readers got the first 6 chapters, what I was looking for from them is the one thing that they all picked out that they felt they needed. Because Robin, we're writing our story, but we're really writing for them, the audience. Right. Exactly. And when the one thing shows up, I was curious, because all 3 said the same thing, which is something that I didn't feel was important for the story, but they did.
Yes.
And that's what happens when you have another set of eyes look at your stories. Oh. So what is it you want to tell your readers out there? Who is this book ideal for?
This book, I really wrote it for people like myself who like to read mysteries, who like to read about women sleuths, professional and non-professional, and also about really adventures in their head, adventures in their lives, and drawing in their community. I like to read about friends. I mean, a person can't live in isolation. And there are lots of books with dysfunctional detectives who have personal problems and don't have a lot of friends. But I like friends. I like support, no matter how obscure or new or how they are, maybe even supporting you for their own ends. But
well, you did really create that community feeling in your story. I got that. Rosetta's an artist, and they're opening up an art studio. But when something happens right in the beginning, should we tell them what happens right in the beginning? Just a little hint.
Oh, you give it.
Well, then we're not telling them. Anyway, something happens in the beginning, and it's fascinating to really see how the community comes in, because it's a small town and she knows everybody. So when her best friend shows up, from the secret we're keeping from you today, I really got to know Eve really well in the story. Yes. And the motherly, compassionate side of this friend. And then all the other people that started to come in to help Rosetta, you're going to have to find out why they help her. I was seeing certain ones, especially the ones that the guys that you really gave descriptions on, and it was interesting how you used the thoughts inside Rosetta's head to kind of be flirting with some of these people, but not through words. So it's really interesting how you wrote your story, how you brought in the different characters, how you have tons of plot twists. Was there one plot twist that kind of really surprised you that it came? Because I know that happens for a lot of us. Like we didn't see it when we first started writing the book. Was there one that surprised you?
There is a crime twist that came up really after I'd written most of the book, and I went back and I thought somebody has to, something's causing this to happen. What is it? What is causing this? So I went to my characters and said, what's missing? I talked to my characters, and I even talked to, I have a character who's not in the book, but she's just my naughty, critical side
I love it.
Okay, and so she, kind of gave it to me. And so, yes, now there is a bigger crime issue fit into the end of the story that actually you can see now it's coming through the story, but we don't know about it till near the end. And it's really a fascinating process when you write and the characters help you tell their story.
It kind of sounds weird maybe to some people, but it's true. We do have our characters talking in our heads. And and when I started writing my novel while you were finishing yours, I was laughing because all of a sudden they take over, don't they? It's like you start typing and then this one's saying, try this, do this, I want to do this. And it's like, where did this come from? And that I think is what's beautiful about writing our stories, is because we can be so out of the box, so creative, and open that creative channel that often is really held tight. Did you find that in your writing process, because I know you have other books in the works too, that your creativity blossomed even more?
Yes, it really does. Because when you really get into the determination to finish the story, you have to let yourself go. You really do.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it's a great feeling. If anyone has been in the zone, we know that zone of bliss where you're creating art or you're creating this story or you're walking and you're seeing nature and something opens your heart and you just feel that incredible connection with everything. And there's a great big duck was sitting in a tree here and just flew away. How is that happening? But it's really a great feeling, and I hope you all can find it somewhere.
Yeah.
It really helps write the book because it's not you telling the story. It's you're creating all your characters and your creativity, coming forth.
Mm-hmm. And you have a lot of that. You really do. I know in your personal life, with your artwork, with your writing, and you are very active in your community in authors clubs and all, and you have shared that. So for those of you that have an idea to write a book, or you have written a book and you're wondering how to promote it, what is your authors community doing and who are you getting connected with?
Well, we have a conference every year. So yesterday I actually I have a Montana women authors group, and we're having a conference, and several of them, we have a screenwriter, a producer, a movie producer coming to our conference this year. And several of the people said right away, you must learn to do this. So they're going to teach me how to promote my book to this screenwriter or this producer. And I went to the first class on that last night. So they were all excited. They're all excited to help you promote, help you finish. So if you have an opportunity to join an authors group, of course you have to try it out and see if it fits you. But that is really one of the best ways to get over the fear of publishing, the fear of sharing. If you don't share your story, who are you writing it for? It's nice to write for yourself. But let's all be honest. We're writing to share. We're writing to show our creativity or our story. We have a story that's going to give something to those people.
And you do that with Rosetta. This is really a heroine's journey. It is. Right?
It is a heroine's journey, which I love. I love those type of stories. So Joseph Campbell is my hero. So if you enjoy that kind of book, you'll enjoy her story in this.
Is there any little tidbit, any little secret you want to reveal today to those that are listening?
Oh, geez.
One tiny little hint.
Well, just because something is hidden, like hidden from you, it doesn't mean it's not happening in your community. So that is what the impetus was for this particular story. What can be hidden in your community, no matter how small it is, like my little town, what can be happening behind the scenes?
And it was interesting how you tied that in, because it's a big global problem
Yes,
hiding in the darkness.
right.
Yeah.
It is.
And I really, when that started to evolve from the story of, Rosetta going on this date and the guy and all these different things that happen and where it led to, where she was led to even rescue somebody. I mean, you don't see that coming right away. And the purpose, is not all revolving around what's hidden in those mountains, but it is an important piece that people need to understand. Just because you're in a small community, just because you're, having fun with your artist friends and all, doesn't mean behind the scenes, like you said. And it really was right there.
It's just through a little thin veil. One
Wow.
side is perfection and one side is darkness.
Yeah.
So it's a real thing. That's all I can say.
Real thing. And we're not going to tell you, because it's part of her purpose of this book in another way to help people. So while you have intrigue, adventure, curiosity, all that fun stuff, you also have a purpose behind your book.
Yes, it had a purpose. It did. I sat down with some family and we listed all the crimes that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
And I chose one. I chose what I felt was the most prominent crime probably happening here.
And in our world right now.
In our world, and where people kind of tend to ignore.
Well, they don't want to believe it. They don't want to face it,
Yeah.
And they'll put the blame on, quote unquote, the victim, when it's more than that. I remember talking to you as well. And even when Kathy published her book, Fearless in Heels, which has some of this component to it,
Right.
We don't realize how these things happen in our lives, how one gets manipulated or charmed or, kind of just hooked into certain things. And that's why opening up with online dating is really important too, because that's also a way that a lot of this crime is happening.
Yes. And people don't talk about that at all.
No,
well,
they don't.
Not in my world.
Right.
I'm sure people who do it all the time know it. But
so are you planning a sequel for Rosetta?
Yes, Rosetta's sequel is in the works.
Yay! Yeah. And where do you have any idea where that one's going to go?
Yeah. Like, same setting, different crime.
Different crime. Okay, so if you like crimes and mysteries and suspense, plot twists, and a purpose for empowering women, then please support our brand new author, Robin Magaddino, Out of the Darkness, available on Amazon right now. Go grab your copy. I'm going to put the link down below, so don't delay, because we'll forget 5 minutes from now, right? But here's what's so important. You know what creates a best-selling author? Your reviews, okay? Not just your purchase, your reviews. So if there's something you like about the story, or that touched your heart, or information she gave that you're like, whoa, then tell people that's what you got from it. Don't just say it's a great book. You have to tell people why Robin's book is great, because she is going to be writing lots more, and people that like to have like trilogies and stuff and follow-up books, this is the gal to follow. Robin, I want to thank you so much for working along with me and my team. I'm really proud of you. And we're going to be rooting all day for you to go bestseller over this weekend.
Thank you so much. Couldn't have done it without you guys.
Seriously. Hey, we all need our teams, our tribes, right? Just like Rosetta has her tribe. Well, let's go make you a bestseller. Thanks. Hey, Darlene. Hi. Thanks for coming on. Please share this video with your friends, because even if you don't like this type of book, you have a friend that does. But you know what? You may just be surprised that even if you're not typically a suspense person, there's so many other twists and turns in here and different things that you can relate to. I mean, I related to things in here. I do happen to like mysteries, though, but I related to a lot of this. You got congratulations coming in. So,
Woo, thank
yes, we
you.
got Darlene saying hi, Nicole, who's your cheerleader. Okay. So, we want to thank you for coming on here, and best wishes to you, Robin, and all that you pursue to bring your magic to the world.
Thank you so much, everyone, and Gloria. Bye-bye.
Bye.